Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're all about helping you nail that product and services manager interview today.
Absolutely.
We've got all your intel right here from RoleCatcher. Guide sample questions, and we'll even peek into their AI tools.
It's like having a cheat sheet. But, instead of just giving you the answers, we're going to show you how to use them strategically.
Exactly. We're going beyond the textbook to give you a real edge.
Yeah.
So before we even get to the questions themselves, let's paint a picture of this role. What does a product and services manager actually do day in and day out?
Well, think of yourself as the architect of a company's offerings.
Okay.
The products and services that customers interact with every single day.
Yeah.
You're not just coming up with ideas. You're responsible for making sure those offerings hit the mark.
Right.
Aligning with both company goals and customer needs. It's a dynamic balancing act.
That's a great way to put it. RoleCatcher also highlights the increasing importance of e-commerce and digital marketing in this role.
Absolutely. You'll need to understand how to leverage these channels to reach your target audience and drive sales. And speaking of reaching goals, RoleCatcher's Career Guide outlines the typical career path for this role. You could start as an entry-level product and services manager, then progress to junior, senior, and even director level.
And that guide even gives us real-life examples of people at each level, showing the skills and experience you need to climb that ladder. It's like having a roadmap for your career.
Exactly. But before you can even think about climbing that ladder, you need to ace that interview.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the heart of this deep dive.
Okay.
Those interview questions. We're going to dissect each one, using RoleCatcher's insights and recommended approaches.
Sounds good to me. Let's start with what seems like a simple question. Tell us about your experience in product development.
Seems straightforward, right?
Yeah.
But there's a subtle art to answering this effectively. The interviewer isn't just looking for a chronological list of everything you've worked on. They want to see how you've identified customer needs and translated those into successful products.
So how do you avoid falling into the trap of just lifting projects?
Think back to those real-world profiles in the career guide. The junior product manager mentioned launching multiple products within budget.
Yeah.
And they quantified their achievements.
Right.
Instead of simply saying, I worked on Project X, you could say, I spearheaded the development of Project X, which resulted in a 15% reduction in production costs while maintaining quality standards.
So it's about highlighting the impact you made, not just the tasks you completed. And what about potential follow-up questions? What if they ask about challenges you faced during a specific project?
Be prepared to share a specific example of a challenge you overcame, highlighting your problem-solving skills. Don't just state the problem, explain how you approached it, what solutions you considered, and the positive outcome you achieved.
This is making me think about all the little details I need to remember about my past projects.
That's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in handy.
Oh.
Their AI-powered tools can help you tailor your responses to specific job roles.
Okay.
It's like having a personalized coach who analyzes the job description and suggests what to emphasize in your answers.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Right.
It's like having a secret weapon to help you stand out.
Let's move on to the next question, which focuses on your strategic thinking. How do you prioritize product and service features?
I bet this one is all about showcasing your ability to make tough decisions.
You nailed it. The interviewer wants to see how you balance competing priorities like customer needs, business goals, technical feasibility, and budget constraints.
Right.
It's a complex equation, but RoleCatcher suggests a structured approach.
So walk us through that structure. What's the first step?
Start by explaining how you gather input from customers and stakeholders.
Okay.
Do you use surveys, focus groups, user interviews, or analyze data from feedback channels? Then talk about how you analyze this data to identify trends and pain points.
It's like being a detective, but instead of solving crimes, you're solving customer problems.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention the frameworks or methodologies you use to prioritize features. Whether it's Moscow, which stands for must have, should have, could have, won't have, or RICE scoring, which evaluates features based on reach, impact, confidence, and effort, showing you have a systematic process demonstrates your professionalism.
Hold on. Could you break down Moscow and RICE scoring a bit more? Those terms are new to me.
Of course, Moscow is a prioritization technique that helps you categorize features based on their importance. Must-have features are essential for the product to function. Should-have features are important but not critical. Could-have features are desirable but can be postponed, and won't-have features are those that are not being considered for the current scope.
So it's like a hierarchy of needs for product features.
Precisely. Now, RICE scoring assigns a numerical value to each feature based on its reach, impact, confidence, and effort. Reach refers to how many users will be affected by the feature. Impact measures the potential positive effect. Confidence represents how certain you are about the impact, and effort estimates the resources needed to implement it. You calculate a RICE score by multiplying these factors together, and the features with the highest scores are prioritized.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these frameworks help bring structure to the chaos of deciding which features to focus on.
Exactly. And by mentioning these methodologies in your answer, you show the interviewer you're familiar with best practices in product management. But remember, simply name-dropping these frameworks isn't enough. You need to demonstrate how you've applied them in real-world scenarios.
Right, it's all about showing, not just telling. And I'm guessing there will be follow-up questions here too, right?
Absolutely. Be prepared for questions like, can you give me an example of a time when you had to make a tough decision about which features to prioritize? Or how do you communicate those decisions to stakeholders, especially when their preferences differ from your prioritization?
Okay, this is all starting to feel very real.
It's about being able to think on your feet and justify your decisions. Now let's move on to question 3. Can you describe a time when you had to pivot a product or service strategy?
This one sounds like it's all about adaptability and handling unexpected challenges.
You hit the nail on the head. The interviewer wants to see how you react when things don't go according to plan.
Right.
Remember, in the world of product development, things rarely go exactly as planned.
So how should you approach this question?
Choose a specific example where you had to change course, perhaps due to unexpected market shifts, new competitor offerings, or changing customer needs. Walk the interviewer through your thought process. How did you identify the need for a pivot? What data did you use to support your decision?
It's like telling a story, but the story is about how you navigated a difficult situation and came out on top.
Exactly. And don't forget to highlight the outcome. Did the pivot succeed? What did you learn from the experience?
And what if they ask, what were the biggest challenges you faced during the pivot?
Be honest and specific. Don't shy away from discussing the obstacles you encountered, but focus on how you overcame them, demonstrating your resilience and resourcefulness.
Okay, let's move on to question number 4.
Ooh.
How do you measure the success of a product or service? I have a feeling this one links back to those KPIs we talked about earlier.
You're spot on. The interviewer wants to know if you understand how to define and track metrics that align with business goals. Remember that section in the career guide about aligning product strategies with company goals?
Yeah.
It all comes full circle here.
So it's not enough to just say, we increased sales or we got more users.
Yeah,
We need to talk about specific KPIs that are relevant to the product or service we're discussing.
absolutely. Think about metrics like customer acquisition, customer lifetime value conversion rates, user engagement, customer satisfaction scores, and net promoter score. Choose the ones that are most relevant to the specific situation you're describing, and be prepared to explain why those metrics matter.
And I imagine they'll want to know how we use data to actually improve the product or service.
You're thinking like a pro. Be ready to discuss how you analyze data to identify areas for improvement, how you use A/B testing or other methods to experiment with different approaches, and how you communicate your findings to the team to drive iterative development.
It's all about showing that you're not just tracking metrics for the sake of it, but you're using them to make informed decisions that drive positive outcomes.
Precisely. Now, before we move on to the next question, let's take a moment to think about how RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers to this specific topic. Imagine you're applying for a role at a company that heavily emphasizes data-driven decision-making.
I'm all ears. How can AI help me stand out in that scenario?
RoleCatcher's AI tools can analyze the job description and suggest specific data points or metrics that are likely to resonate with that employer. It's like having an insider's guide to what they're really looking for.
So instead of just rattling off a generic list of KPIs,
Yeah.
I could focus on the ones that are most relevant to their business and demonstrate my understanding of their priorities.
Exactly. It's about showing them you've done your research and you're not just reciting textbook answers.
All right, I'm starting to see how powerful this AI can be.
Mhm.
Let's tackle the next question.
Sounds good to me. Question number 5 focuses on your customer centricity. How do you prioritize customer needs and feedback?
This one seems like it goes hand in hand with measuring success, because ultimately a successful product is one that meets customer needs.
You're absolutely right. This question is all about demonstrating that you're a customer champion,
Okay.
always seeking to understand and meet their needs, even when those needs are constantly evolving.
So where do we start with this answer?
Begin by describing your process for gathering customer feedback. Do you utilize surveys, focus groups, user interviews, social media listening tools, or analyze customer support interactions? Then talk about how you analyze that feedback and translate it into actionable insights.
It's like piecing together a puzzle, where each piece of feedback helps you understand the bigger picture of what customers want and need.
Exactly. And just like with prioritizing features, consider mentioning specific frameworks you use to prioritize customer needs.
Okay.
Do you utilize a Kano model to categorize needs into basic, performance, and excitement factors? Or perhaps you use a customer journey map to understand the customer experience at each touchpoint?
These frameworks add structure and credibility to your approach.
Precisely. But remember, it's not just about the frameworks themselves. It's about demonstrating how you've applied them in real situations. Be prepared to share specific examples of how you've used customer feedback to improve products or services.
And I bet they'll also want to know how we balance those needs with business goals, because sometimes those things might be in conflict, right?
You're anticipating those tricky follow-up questions. Yes, be prepared to discuss how you navigate those situations where customer feedback might conflict with strategic objectives.
This is making me think about a time when I received feedback from customers that contradicted our initial product roadmap. It was tough to balance their needs with the overall business strategy.
That's a perfect example. Sharing a personal anecdote like that can really make your answer come to life. It shows you've grappled with these challenges in the real world and you have the experience to handle them effectively.
Okay, I'm starting to feel more confident about tackling these tough questions. What's next on the list?
Let's dive into question number 6. How do you manage and motivate cross-functional teams?
This one seems less about product specifics and more about leadership and collaboration skills.
You're right on the mark. Product and services managers don't work in silos. They're constantly interacting with teams from engineering design, marketing, sales, and more.
So it's like being the conductor of an orchestra, making sure everyone is playing in harmony to create a beautiful symphony.
I love that analogy. Start by describing your leadership style. Are you a collaborative leader who empowers your team? Or are you more directive, setting clear expectations and deadlines? There's no right or wrong answer here, but it's important to be authentic and demonstrate self-awareness.
And I'm guessing communication plays a big role here.
Yeah.
How do you ensure everyone is on the same page and working towards a common goal?
Communication is key. Describe the tools and techniques you use to keep everyone informed and aligned. Do you use regular team meetings, project management software, shared documents, or a combination of approaches?
And what about those inevitable conflicts that arise when you have people from different departments with different priorities? How do you handle those situations?
Be prepared to discuss your conflict resolution skills and your ability to foster a positive and productive team environment. Share a specific example of a time when you had to resolve a conflict within a cross-functional team. What steps did you take? What was the outcome?
Okay, so it's about showing that I can bring people together, even when they have different perspectives,
Yeah,
and guide them towards a shared goal.
exactly. Now, before we move on to the final question in this set, let's pause and consider how RoleCatcher's AI can help us tailor our response to this specific topic. Imagine you're applying for a role at a company that's known for its fast-paced, agile environment.
I'm curious to know how AI can help me showcase my ability to thrive in that type of environment.
RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the job description and identify keywords or phrases that suggest the company values specific leadership qualities. For example, if they emphasize self-organization or cross-functional collaboration, the AI can recommend emphasizing your experience with agile methodologies or your ability to facilitate effective communication across teams.
So it's not just about showcasing my leadership skills in general. It's about highlighting the specific aspects of my leadership style that align with their company culture.
Precisely. It's about demonstrating that you've done your homework and you understand what it takes to succeed in their unique environment.
This AI is really starting to feel like an indispensable tool for any serious job seeker. All right, let's wrap up this question set with the final one.
Sounds good to me. The last question in this set is designed to assess your decision-making abilities under pressure. Can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision about a product or service?
The classic, tell me about a time when question. I know these can be tricky because they require you to recall a specific situation and articulate your thought process.
You're right, this one's a classic for a reason.
Yeah.
It gives the interviewer a glimpse into your decision-making process, your ability to handle pressure, and your commitment to doing what's best for the company and its customers.
So how do we choose the right example to share?
Think of a situation where you had to make a tough call, perhaps involving trade-offs between features, budget constraints, ethical considerations, or even conflicting stakeholder opinions. Remember, the goal isn't to showcase a perfect decision, but to demonstrate your ability to think critically, weigh different factors, and make a well-informed choice, even when faced with difficult circumstances.
So walk us through the structure of a strong answer to this question.
Start by setting the stage. Briefly describe the context of the situation, the challenges you faced, and the key decision that needed to be made. Then walk the interviewer through your thought process. What factors did you consider? Who did you consult with? What data did you analyze? Don't be afraid to reveal your internal struggle. It shows that you take these decisions seriously.
And what about the outcome? Should we only share examples where our decisions were successful?
It's actually more powerful to share an example where you learned something valuable, even if the outcome wasn't perfect. Hiring managers appreciate candidates who are self-aware and willing to acknowledge their mistakes. Focus on the lessons you learned and how you've grown from the experience.
Okay, so even a failed decision can be a valuable learning opportunity if you frame it the right way.
Exactly. And be prepared for follow-up questions that delve deeper into your thought process or challenge your assumptions. They might ask, looking back, would you have made the same decision? Or, what would you do differently next time?
This is making me realize that these tell me about a time when questions are really about assessing your ability to reflect on your experiences and learn from them.
You nailed it. It's not just about what you did, it's about how you think and how you grow.
All right, we've tackled those 7 challenging interview questions.
Yeah.
What's next on our deep dive agenda?
We've got more questions to cover, but first let's shift gears and talk about some career insights from RoleCatcher's Guide.
Sounds good to me. Let's sprinkle in some of that wisdom.
Remember those career paths we mentioned earlier? The progression from entry-level to junior to senior product and services manager, and ultimately to director of product and services.
You're referring to the roadmap for professional growth outlined in RoleCatcher's Career Guide, the one that highlights the skills and experience needed to advance at each stage.
Exactly. It's not just about landing that first job.
Right.
It's about building a sustainable career. And the guide emphasizes the importance of continuous learning, recommending certifications, courses, and workshops that can really boost your expertise.
It even mentions those industry-recognized certifications, like the Project Management Professional, PMP, Certified Product Manager, CPM, and Certified Scrum Product Owner, CSPO. Having those on your resume can definitely make you a more competitive candidate.
Absolutely. And it's not just about formal education. Attending industry events, connecting with professionals on LinkedIn, and joining relevant associations can open doors to new opportunities and keep you in the loop on the latest trends.
So it's about being proactive and continuously investing in your professional growth. It's like they say, the learning never stops.
Well said. Now let's get back to those interview questions. We've got 2 more to cover from RoleCatcher's Guide. The next one is all about staying ahead of the curve. How do you stay current with industry trends and emerging technologies?
This one feels like it's designed to assess your curiosity and your commitment to continuous learning. After all, the tech landscape is constantly evolving.
Precisely. It's not enough to just know the current trends. You need to demonstrate that you're actively seeking out new knowledge and exploring emerging technologies.
So how can we approach this question effectively?
Think about the different ways you stay informed. Do you subscribe to industry newsletters or blogs? Do you listen to podcasts or attend webinars? Do you follow thought leaders on social media? Do you participate in online forums or communities?
It's about showcasing your thirst for knowledge and your ability to stay ahead of the curve. And I'm guessing those certifications we discussed earlier can come in handy here too.
You're right. This is a perfect opportunity to mention any relevant certifications you hold as they demonstrate your commitment to professional development. And even if you don't have specific certifications, you can still highlight your proactive approach to learning.
So, for example, instead of just saying, I read industry articles, I could say, I'm an avid reader of TechCrunch and Wired, and I regularly attend webinars on topics like artificial intelligence and machine learning to stay informed about the latest advancements.
Exactly. Be specific and give concrete examples. And don't forget to connect your learning to your work.
So I could add something like, in my previous role, I implemented a new user analytics platform after researching emerging trends in data visualization, resulting in a 10% improvement in our team's ability to identify user behavior patterns.
Perfect. You've not only shown that you stay informed, but also that you apply your knowledge to drive positive outcomes. Now, be prepared for follow-up questions like, what are some of the biggest trends that you're seeing in your industry right now? Or how do you evaluate new technologies to determine if they're a good fit for your company?
Okay, so it's not just about knowing the trends, it's about being able to analyze them and apply them strategically.
Exactly. Now let's move on to the final question in this set from RoleCatcher's Guide. Can you describe a time when you had to negotiate a partnership or contract?
This one sounds like it's all about your ability to build relationships, communicate effectively, and find mutually beneficial solutions.
You nailed it. Negotiation is a critical skill for product and services managers, whether they're working with external vendors, internal stakeholders, or even potential investors.
So how should we approach this question?
Start by choosing an example that highlights your negotiation skills in a professional setting. Briefly describe the context of the situation, the key objectives you were trying to achieve, and the challenges you faced. Then walk the interviewer through your negotiation strategy.
So it's like telling a story, but the story is about how you navigated a complex negotiation and achieved a successful outcome.
Exactly. And remember to highlight the specific tactics you used, such as active listening, building rapport, finding common ground, proposing creative solutions, and knowing when to compromise and when to hold firm.
And what if the negotiation didn't go exactly as planned?
It's okay to share an example where you faced setbacks or challenges during the negotiation process. What matters is how you handled those challenges, what lessons you learned, and how you adapted your approach to achieve a positive outcome.
This is making me think about a time when I was negotiating a contract with a new vendor, and our initial proposals were miles apart. It took a lot of back and forth creative problem solving and compromise to reach an agreement that worked for both sides.
That's a great example. Sharing a personal anecdote like that adds authenticity to your answer and shows that you've got real-world experience in handling tough negotiations. And be prepared for follow-up questions like, what's your biggest strength as a negotiator? Or, what's your approach to handling difficult conversations?
Okay, so it's about showcasing my ability to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics, communicate effectively, and find win-win solutions.
Precisely. And remember, this question isn't just about getting what you want, it's about building strong relationships and fostering trust, which are essential qualities for any successful product and services manager.
All right, we've tackled those 9 interview questions, but before we wrap out, I want to circle back to RoleCatcher's AI. You mentioned earlier that their tools can help us tailor our answers and get feedback for specific job roles. Can you tell us more about how that works?
Absolutely. RoleCatcher's AI-powered tools are like having a personal interview coach in your pocket. One of the key features is their AI-powered feedback on practice answers. You can record yourself answering those tough interview questions we just discussed, and RoleCatcher's AI will analyze your delivery, your content, and even your body language. It's like having a mock interview with an expert who can pinpoint areas for improvement and suggest ways to make your answers more impactful.
That sounds incredible. It's like having a secret weapon to help you refine your answers and boost your confidence.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just general feedback. RoleCatcher's AI can tailor its analysis to specific job roles. Let's say you're applying for a product and services manager position at a tech startup that specializes in mobile apps. RoleCatcher's AI can analyze the job description and suggest that you highlight your experience with agile development methodologies, your understanding of the mobile app ecosystem, and your ability to gather and analyze user feedback.
So instead of giving generic answers, I can fine-tune my responses to align with the specific requirements and culture of that company.
Precisely. And here's another amazing feature. RoleCatcher's AI can help you identify skills gaps. By analyzing your CV and the job descriptions of roles you're interested in, RoleCatcher can pinpoint skills that are in high demand but that you may be lacking.
So it's not just about acing the interview. It's about identifying areas for professional development and gaining a competitive edge.
Exactly. RoleCatcher empowers you to take control of your career trajectory and make informed decisions about your future.
This all sounds incredibly valuable. I'm starting to see why so many people are raving about RoleCatcher's AI tools.
It's like having a whole team of career experts in your corner, guiding you every step of the way.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground today, but we're not done yet. We've still got that final thought to discuss before we wrap up this deep dive.
You're right. We need to talk about the elephant in the room, the potential pitfalls of relying solely on AI.
Okay, let's address that.
Yeah.
I understand that some people might be concerned about over-reliance on technology and losing that human touch in their job search.
It's a valid concern. While AI can be a powerful tool, it's important to remember that it's just that, a tool.
Hmm.
It should augment, not replace human judgment and interaction.
So how do we strike that balance? How do we use AI effectively without losing sight of the human element?
Think of RoleCatcher's AI as your co-pilot, not your autopilot. It can provide valuable insights and suggestions, but ultimately, you're the one in control. You make the final decisions about how to present yourself, how to answer those interview questions, and how to engage with potential employers.
So it's about using AI strategically and thoughtfully, leveraging its strengths, while still maintaining your authenticity and human connection.
Exactly. And here's another important point. Don't underestimate the power of human feedback. Talk to mentors, career counselors, friends, and family members. Get their insights and perspectives on your job search strategy, your resume, and your interview skills.
It's about combining the power of AI with the wisdom and support of your human network.
And remember, practice makes perfect. Don't just rely on AI to analyze your answers. Practice those responses out loud. Record yourself and get feedback from others.
It's about using all the resources at your disposal, both technological and human, to prepare yourself for success.
And here's one final thought. Don't be afraid to show your personality in the interview. Let your passion for product and service development shine through.
You're absolutely right. Hiring managers aren't just looking for robots. They're looking for people who are passionate, engaged, and excited about the work they do.
Authenticity and enthusiasm can go a long way in making a lasting impression.
So embrace those qualities. Be yourself and let your personality shine through. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into the world of product and services management. We've dissected those challenging interview questions and explored how RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer in your preparation. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to that final thought we left you with.
The one about envisioning the impact you want to make as a product and services manager.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is where things get really exciting. It's not just about getting the job. It's about finding a role that truly aligns with your passions and aspirations. Think about the products or services that excite you, the problems you're eager to solve, the industries that spark your curiosity.
Right.
Maybe you're passionate about sustainability and dream of developing eco-friendly products that reduce our carbon footprint.
Yeah.
Or perhaps you're drawn to the healthcare industry and want to create innovative solutions that improve patient care and outcomes. Or maybe you're a tech enthusiast who envisions developing cutting-edge software or apps that connect people, simplify their lives, and make the world a more efficient and enjoyable place.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your passions intersect with market needs and company goals. And here's a pro tip. When you're preparing for those interviews, keep that vision in mind. Let your enthusiasm for your ideas shine through in your answers.
You're right. Hiring managers aren't just looking for someone who can recite textbook answers. They're looking for people who are genuinely passionate about the work they do.
Yeah, when you can articulate your vision for the future of a company's products or services, it demonstrates your strategic thinking, your commitment, and your potential to make a real impact.
It shows them that you're not just looking for a paycheck. You're looking for an opportunity to contribute to something meaningful, something bigger than yourself.
So as you embark on your product and services manager interview journey, remember this. You're not just selling your skills and experience. You're selling your vision, your passion, and your potential to make a difference.
That's what truly sets exceptional candidates apart. It's about going beyond the resume, connecting on a deeper level with the interviewers, sharing your aspirations, and demonstrating your alignment with the company's mission.
Who knows, that question about your vision might even spark a conversation that leads to your dream job. And remember, we're here to support you every step of the way. We believe in you.
That's a wrap for today's deep dive into the world of the product and services manager. We hope you've gained valuable insights and practical tips to help you ace those interviews and launch your career in this exciting field. And don't forget to check out RoleCatcher for all the resources we discussed today. It's truly a game changer.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep chasing those dreams.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a fascinating career path. Until then, good luck out there.